Hey, welcome back. It's the 13th week of the fall 2024 Mirliton season, and I've got your weekly updates here from the garden in West Mobile. Not a lot of excitement this week, I hate to say. We have a couple of cold weather days. Tried to take care of some things to prevent it. We got down to 33 in a couple of cases. And this time of year, basically what we're looking at is trying to preserve the vine. We're kind of at that point where we're almost on the verge of freezing, and the concern is that, you know, a lot of people have probably already played out on their Mirlitons, and if that's the case with you, probably good just to cut it back and not have to worry about the vine protected over the winter. But in many cases, like myself, the vine looks good, got flowers, and there's still potential there, but the concern is that right now I don't really have any crop to talk about, so I'd like to get a few more. So what I kind of do is I'm playing things by ear and watching it week to week. So let's go check the vine out and you'll see what I'm talking about. We're at the 13th week mark here for the Boudreaux Robert Mirlitons grown here in West Mobile, 2024. It is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and it's gotten down to 34 for I think 3 or 4 hours the night before last, and to 36. Now some people have wondered what they needed to do with their Mirlitons at this time because of the cold temperatures. In this particular case, what I ended up doing was just leaving it as is. As you can see, it hadn't been covered up. The reason I did that is the fact that even though there was a frost warning for the county and some concerns about that, what I found out is that the temperature, ambient temperature, was going to be say 34, but the dew point wasn't going to be but 28. So technically no frost should have been forming on the plants. Now I did notice this morning that despite it being 36, there was quite a bit of frost on some people's roofs. So anyway, what I found out over time is with this plant is that it can seem to handle a couple of cold hours, even if it is a couple of days consecutively. So that's what I've done thus far. The rest of the week looks like it's going to get down to maybe 33 Wednesday morning. So one of the options I have is, as you can tell, it'd be a pain in the butt to cover this, which I've done before. Or I could take a sprinkler such as that and set it up so that when the times when those lower temperatures hit, I could just have it sprinkling the water, which will probably be, you know, coming out of the ground in the pipes at least 70 degrees on the plants, and that should provide plenty of protection. Now, once again, if it gets much colder, say under 30 for several hours or several days, more than likely at that point I'll cut it back. But right now, as you will see, you know, I still got plenty of buds, and I have noticed I do have quite a few females that look to be pollinated. No, I don't think that one's pollinated, nor that one. But there are still some opportunities to be had here. Hope this thing doesn't go off on me. Nice female flower. Okay, I saw them yesterday. There you go. That one looks to be pollinated. I think there might be another one there. So at the risk of trying to get a few more, and this one's still doing well. It's a little bit bigger this week. I'd like to maintain the plant as long as I can. So that's my plan right now. And you can see I got a bee flying around. So I'm gonna look around and see what else. But anyway, that's gonna be game plan. So the other reason I choose to do that is, if you'll notice, I still have this big canopy above of this red oak. It has a lot less leaves, but I also have some of the neighbors' trees around helping. And then the truck usually is parked nearby. So what I've done too is kept the light off, hoping that it'll generate some of the buds to continue flowering. So there's no reason that it won't produce if it's hand pollinated. Although the probabilities are greatly reduced because the pollen is not as viable. Like I said, you can see here, we got some male flowers. And then look at that. It's another little female that's pollinated. So at this point, it's kind of really playing it by ear. I think what people end up doing is oftentimes you got to get some of the experience under your belt, I guess, with the plants and your yard, your ecosystem, because it'd be quite easy to just go ahead and cut it down to the base about 2 inches away from the bottom and cover it. I think some of that might be preemptive now. What could end up happening is that if you've made like 100 Mirliton already, it's probably easy just to go ahead and do that because that'll just give you something less to have to worry about. On the other hand, if you're like me and you end up with not having produced a whole lot this year, you want to try to maximize the opportunities. So that's usually where I find myself. So anyway, I'll look around a little bit more and see if we find anything else, any other surprises. But I've got that one I picked last week. It hasn't started to sprout yet. So once it starts to show signs of the seed dropping, I'll go ahead and cover it and hopefully have a little insurance policy for that. And that's what I'll do also with this other one. But it would be nice to get a couple more. Go check underneath. Still nothing that I can see from this angle with the lights. Although you notice the oranges are starting to change color. That's the squirrel deterrent working there. Yeah, not exactly a whole lot of safety underneath this thing from that. Anyway, still not seeing a whole lot hidden up here. Ah, there's a flower that you might be able to make out there. My hope is that there's been some pollinated ones hiding amongst this. And like I said many years ago, I actually found 2 or 3 after the fact when I had a real great year. I would probably do well to actually, before Mirliton season starts, go back and actually watch my videos from the previous 2 years and then kind of note a game plan, because like I said, it would help me think about the fact, like, too many sunny days and it's not getting a lot of shade, then it makes me realize, okay, well, that's probably not gonna expect to see a whole lot of flowers forming. And that'll tell me to turn off that light or put a shade cloth over this. Anyway, that's about it. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do this week. I don't really see any for me to hand pollinate. I will just continue to prepare it for any frost that could occur and hope for the best. And if I can get 3 or 4 more, I'll just do that, and then we'll see if there's a whole lot more to report on in the next couple of weeks. Usually by the 13th, 14th, or maybe even 15th is when I usually end these series. So I think I've got at least probably 2 more weeks to at least tell you about what's going on. Anyway, that's it for this week. Like I said, not a lot of excitement, not a lot of change. And also, as I mentioned, this is probably going to be maybe the second to last video or third to last video on the series for 2024. I don't really expect, even if the weather were to stay mild, that we'd see a big resurgence in flowering and fruiting. Right now, it's getting to that point. Things are slowing down in the garden anyway, so what I'd really kind of plan to do is maybe a week or two, see how it goes. If the sprinkler system will work and protect it, then I'll keep doing that. But if it gets to the point where I'm not going to see any fruit coming out of it, what I'll probably just do is cut it back, like I said. And we'll talk, and I'll create a video on that at the time. So if you have any questions, please do me a favor and put them in the comments section below, or send them to me at rpcajun2r@gmail.com. I appreciate any of the questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. Also, check us out on mirliton.org, mirliton.org, both on Facebook and on the internet. Wealth of information there, and right now, like I said, there's a lot of people getting information out on selling their Mirlitons. So once again, always make sure you don't plant the ones you get from the grocery store. Those are good for eating, but not for planting. And even if you get them from a farmer's market or some type of local grocery or local feed store, you also want to check and make sure. You ought to be able to look at mirliton.org's internet page, check out the pictures and see what an heirloom variety looks like versus, say, the store-bought ones, which will be thin-skinned, smooth, and globular. So anyway, just check those out. And if you have any questions, like I said, leave them here, send them to me on email, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. Thanks again. I'll check you out later.